Hey everybody, this is Kieran Race, the obsessive compulsive gamer, the O.C.G, and oh boy do I have a doozy today. I typically try to talk about games and nerdy stuff that I'm interested in when I'm not streaming, and I've been trying to branch out into commentary, but even still I don't normally talk about stuff like this that is so personal to me. But I really think that this is a defining moment in history, and I think that men need to come forward, and I think that more men need to be heard. So, Johnny Depp won his lawsuit against Amber Heard. I mean, right away. Booyah. She'll have to pay him ultimately about $8 million. Which honestly could sink her. That's about what she's worth. And I guarantee you she doesn't have that much lying around in cash. And this should be a great moment. But it's not. Because this is just the beginning. And unfortunately, this is going to unleash some stuff that's not that great either. It's going to bring an end to the metoo movement. And while that's great on the surface that people aren't going to get accused for no reason, it's also going to hurt women in the long run. And it's unfortunate because it was women that did this. But let me start over. And let me explain why I'm such a huge supporter of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. The Johnny Depp, anyway. When I was 16, I was molested, groomed, and abused by a 23-year-old woman. She deliberately sought me out through a family friend. She pressured me into taking my virginity. She tried to force me to do things in bed I didn't want to do. She mocked me. She humiliated me. And then after everything was said and done and over, when she finally had enough of using me, she was somehow able to convince other people that I was the abuser. I don't even understand how that's possible, how somebody could look at a 23-year-old girl banging a 16-year-old guy, and think that he's the problem. What are you going to do? And then, about 2 years later, I was falsely accused of sexual harassment. A woman that I knew, who I thought I was friends with, said that I groped her in a public area. I was not given any benefit of the doubt. I was not asked my side of the story. I was not even asked what happened. I was not even told why I was banned. I was simply banned from that store. Let's say her name was Penelope. And this was GameStop, and I was banned for a year. And she was telling everyone who would listen that I was a predator. And I had done no such thing. And finally, after a year, I was able to get GameStop to look at the camera footage and exonerate me, as I was on camera not touching her and not groping her like she said. And even then I never got an apology. And I'll never forget how the way people looked at me, who thought I was a predator, the way that people treated me. I'll never forget how I wasn't even asked my side of the story. They just believed her like that. And this was in 2014. And then in 2017, Me Too hit. And honestly, at first, Me Too was a great thing. Cosby, Weinstein, several other people were fucking horrible abusers. They were terrible human beings, and they abused their power and brutally assaulted and raped women. And they deserve to go down. But then, the Me Too movement went fucking crazy. They went after people for more and more ridiculous reasons. Well, I didn't say no, but he should have known I wasn't comfortable. I didn't stop him, but he should have known. Or just any number of other things. And it got to the point where suddenly a woman was believed without evidence, without question. She said it, he must have done it. So one woman with a single sentence could ruin somebody's life. And I'm not saying that rape allegations shouldn't be taken seriously. They should be. If a woman says that she was raped or assaulted or sexually harassed in any way, it should be immediately investigated. But it should not be believed like it's fact until it is verified to be so. The presumption of innocence is vital to American democracy, to democracy as a whole, honestly. Innocent until proven guilty. And suddenly it became innocent, or guilty until proven innocent, and then not. Even people who were able to 100% prove they didn't do what women accused them of, like Chris Avalone, still had their lives wrecked beyond repair. And it was more guy after guy after guy after guy. More and more going down. And it got to the point where it just became ridiculous. One of them tried to say a guy assaulted her because he was talking to her at a party. I kid you not. And then more and more people from the metoo movement came through. And turned out to be fucking scumbags themselves. Ossie Argento, one of the main figureheads of the metoo movement, who said that Weinstein abused her, and I believe he did, knew this kid called Isaiah, I believe. He was a Hollywood actor. You've probably seen him in things. She knew him from the time he was 7. He couldn't drive because he was epileptic. She drove him out to her country house. She got him blackout fucking drunk and had sex with him. Bear in mind, he's 17. She's 37. And she fucking got him drunk and she wasn't drunk. And she admitted to doing this. She admitted to her friend in a private text message that, yeah, she fucked him. But then, she didn't know he was going to shake her down. Her friend, she thought her friend was going to keep the secret and her friend leaked her. Good. So she admitted to doing this. Okay, and that's one of the figureheads of the metoo movement. It's a fucking molester. She knew him since he was 7. She knew his parents. How fucking gross is that? And then this Amber Heard shit came out. And I can say, unlike the vast majority of people, I did not immediately condemn Johnny. I was falsely accused, as I have previously stated. And I remember how shitty it was that everyone just automatically assumed I was guilty. So I vowed that until evidence comes out, I won't just believe somebody is guilty. And he had never had a history of abuse, despite the fact that he was almost 50 years old. So I thought, man, it's really weird that he, just all of a sudden starts abusing people. And I watched as his entire career got dragged under the bus. I watched as he got dragged under the bus. Even as people, no investigation, nothing. He lost over $100 million from her allegations. And then, about 6 months later, a tape of Amber Heard admitting to hitting him and being abusive comes. On the audio tape, which is now fucking famous, it's part of internet history, she says, I did not hit you. I punched you. Or I'm sorry. She says, I did not punch you. I was hitting you. I was fucking hitting you. And she's like, you run away from fights. And he's like, yeah, I run away from fights. Because you get physical. I'm not going to sit there and let you hit me. And she's like, oh, you baby. And she straight up tells her, go tell a court that you're a man, that you're abused. See if they believe you. She knew nobody would believe him. And let me tell you something, okay? Somebody who's abused doesn't hit their abuser, as a matter of fact. Somebody who's abused doesn't tell their abuser to stop running away. They'd be thankful they fucking left. Somebody who is abused doesn't sit there and make fun of their abuser. That's how you get fucking popped in the face. The women I've seen that were legitimately abused were afraid to say anything nasty. Hell, my groomer, I was afraid to say anything that might upset her because she would sit there and say, well, you're a little piece of shit. Or God, you suck. Or some terrible thing. And I thought I loved her. I thought she loved me. And a lot of people's opinion overnight kind of changed. Even some other Me Too activists distanced themselves from Amber Heard when they found out what she was saying. And, Johnny finally decided, after so long, to take her ass to fucking court. Because she just kept running her mouth. She kept saying he's a predator, he's an abuser, he's an abuser, he's an abuser. And wouldn't let it go. He was trying to just move on. And it eventually came to light that he made her sign an NDA. He was trying to just let it go. He promised he would never talk about it if she didn't. And then she had to post a fucking article, in the Washington Post that named him as an abuser. And obviously she didn't straight up say it was him. But everybody knew. And it's what cost him his fucking job after she signed an NDA, after he gave her untold amounts of fucking money. And then she even got $7 million out of him over the additional divorce settlement. And straight up said, that she was going to give all that money away. She was going to give $7 million to the Children's Fund and said, I didn't divorce him for money, I gave the money away. She did not give them a fucking penny. Elon Musk, of the $7 million that was promised, Elon Musk donated $100,000 for her. And Johnny Depp donated like $100,000 for her. And that was years later. And then she said, well, I pledged to pay an installment. She never did. Ever. Okay? So she said she was going to get that money for sick kids with cancer, and then never fucking gave it to those kids with cancer, despite pledging to do so, and she went and fucking spent it. And this is after she already made a shit ton of money in the divorce. Like, a lot of fucking money. So he took her to court, and he took the tabloid, The Sun, in the UK to court first. And he lost. But that was because he was really fighting the government. He wasn't fighting Amber Heard. This time he fought Amber Heard. And finally, he fucking won. $8 million in damages, pretty much. Some was detracted, some was taken away. But at the end of the day, he won. The judge straight up said, we believe that she lied and defamed you. And before he was taking on the magazine, he took on her, and he fucking won. It took him 6 years, it took him millions of dollars, it took him being one of the biggest stars in the fucking world, and a mountain of support, but he won. And this is a powerful, powerful fucking moment for men, because male victims of sexual abuse are laughed at. I still get told I was fucking lucky. I still have people thinking I abused her, when I still have mental trauma over what she fucking did to me. She tried to force her thumb at my ass during sex, and I tried to say no, and I literally had to shove her off me and run out of my house to get away from her. Now I want you to imagine if the genders were reversed, and a guy tried to forcefully shove his fingers up a girl's pussy, and she had to shove him off and run away, physically flee from her own home. How that would go down. My sexual assault isn't even taken fucking seriously. I saw an era where they said, believe all women, believe victims, and then they laughed in my fucking face. So I guess believe all women, fuck men. Don't believe men. And it made what was already so bad so much worse. Society was against me. Her friends were fucking against me. People I knew were fucking against me. And I was the fucking victim. I was molested. I was 16. She was 23. And she deliberately sought me out knowing my age. And to this day, she's not served one day of jail time. No, and she never will. She got away with it because she was a fucking woman. So, for Johnny to finally get justice is so huge. And, that's why I've rooted for Johnny so long. Because I've been where he is. I've had a woman brutally abuse me. And then I was blamed. I was laughed at. I was mocked. So maybe it wasn't as high profile. Maybe he was a huge star and I'm not, but I've been in a similar sort of situation, so my heart went out for him. And this should be such a great fucking day. But see, the thing is now, is there are lots of women who are fucking sexually assaulted, who aren't going to be believed now because of women like Amber Heard. Because women like Amber Heard and Asia Argento fucking torpedoed feminism. They torpedoed the metoo movement to the point where metoo did more harm than good. And it never goes back to the center. The pendulum always fucking swings. So now, what we saw was the fountainhead moment. We're going to go back to women aren't believed when they're talked about being raped. We're going to go back to feminism rights already being messed up. We've already seen how they're trying to repeal Roe v. Wade. And this is inextricably linked with feminism, okay? Because Amber Heard, one, is a self-proclaimed feminist. And that, her being as famous as she is, puts her in the light. But not only that, the feminist movement backed her up. And the feminist movement could have avoided all of this. As soon as they heard that audio tape, because everybody heard that fucking audio tape, they could have immediately distanced themselves from Amber and said, no, we made a mistake. But no, they didn't. They decided they were going down with Amber Heard, and that's what they fucking did. They made her the face of the whole movement. And now that Amber is crashing and burning, they're fucking crashing and burning. And it's not going to hurt them. Amber will recover. Amber will still get work. She still probably make $35K for fucking abuse talks and shit like that. She'll still make more money than we make in a year and a day doing abuse counseling. How ironic is that? But ordinary women now will have a much harder time being believed. And sadly enough, it's fucking women who did this. The feminist movement pushed her. Hook, line, and sinker, no matter what shady shit came to light. The feminist movement pushed fucking Rose McGowan, a crazy woman. The feminist movement pushed fucking Asia Argento, a molester, a fucking borderline pedo. Who fucked a boy she helped raise after getting him super drunk and stranded miles away from home. That's insane. And now, the pendulum has swung, the tides have turned. Feminists have pissed off so many people that nobody wants to listen to them anymore. They've fucked up so much, they've lost all credibility. And my father made a very good argument. He said that, the thing about feminists is they would never try to change the laws. They always try to exert peer pressure, and that'll work, but only so far. They never try to vote in the, people who change the laws. And that's about to bite them in the ass. Because the men in power who are trying against them, they've been poking those people. They've been poking the fucking bear. These women, these fucking old white dudes, old-fashioned, 40s, 50s, they already don't like women. They would already look for any excuse, and now they've been poking the fucking bear. The only thing that held them in check was social peer pressure. But now that the tides have turned, and now feminism is reviled, they'll be able to do a lot more. Why do you think Roe v. Wade is being appealed now? They've been pushing for so long, but just now they've been able to get farther than ever. It's because the tides have turned. People don't like feminists. They don't want to listen to them, and they're pushing things back. And it's crazy to me that women talk about how the people in power are overwhelmingly men. Let's break that down, shall we? Number one, 75% of women don't fucking vote. And this counts for the women that are eligible to vote, mind you, okay? So we're not talking about children, or illegal immigrants, or just immigrants. I'm pretty sure you can't vote if you're an immigrant, legal or otherwise. We're literally talking about of the women in America, the natural-born U.S. citizens who don't have a felony, who can vote, 75% of them fucking don't. And of that, so we're now left with only a quarter of women who vote. 25%. Of that, about 25 to 50% of those women only vote what their husband votes. So, they want to get more women into power, but they're not willing to fucking vote to make it happen. They're not willing to get asses into seats. They're not willing to change laws. That's how you get real societal change. You change the fucking laws. You legislate it. And on top of that, what makes matters even worse is many of the women who did vote voted for Trump. Trump had an overwhelming amount of female support. What the fuck? You're telling me that women overwhelmingly voted for Trump, a dude who says you could just grab him by the pussy over Hillary Clinton, a fucking woman who would have been the first female president ever? Are you kidding me? And honestly, it kind of robs a lot of sympathy from the feminist movement, because it's like, if you won't even vote to try and change things and vote for people that support you, then why the fuck can you even complain? My family didn't like Trump. We voted against him. So we put our money where our mouth is. What about you? And these feminists got so over shit that didn't matter. Manspreading, mansplaining, microaggressions, toxic masculinity. And then they were ignoring major shit like Roe v. Wade. They were ignoring people trying to take their rights away. They were ignoring women being fucking stoned in Afghanistan. Women not being able to fucking read or show their face or go out in public unaccompanied by a male. Man, women being treated like fucking cattle. They turned their blind eyes to the real things, because it wasn't about actually making life better for women. It was about getting woke points, being told how brave and progressive they were. And that just comes to show you here how it is. They could have been focusing on Roe v. Wade being appealed, and instead all they fucking focused on was Amber Heard and backing up her fucking lies. And it's genuinely scary, because the fate of women is at risk, and women are largely responsible for this. And the good feminists, the ones who aren't assholes, the ones who aren't weird and creepy and molesty, who aren't misandrists, who just equate feminism with man-hating, now their life is 10 times harder because the entire brand has been soured. They don't even want to identify as feminists because people fucking hate it so much. And I think this is just the beginning. Me Too is going to end. And feminism is fucking going down with it. And while that's good in the short term, it's a powerful step for men, it's going to hurt women in the long run. As the tides have turned on them, on feminists, and kind of women as a whole, the public optics have shifted. They were the only people holding certain things at bay, and now they have no credibility. They pissed it all away. And you talk about BLM, and you talk about riots in this country. Dude, if they repeal Roe v. Wade, it's gonna get fucking bloody. Blood will be in the streets. People will die. It will weaponize the left and the fucking right. And I just wish that these feminists were paying attention more to what mattered, and that stupid bullshit. I'm a mama's boy. I love my mother. My mother raised me. My dad was working a lot, and I'm not saying he was an absent father because he was providing. He wasn't doing smack or whatever. But my mother raised me from the majority, and I am undeniably close to her. And I was raised in an almost all-female family. And I was raised that women don't need men, that women have all the rights of men, that women should work and support themselves. So at heart, I am a feminist. Anyone who tries to say that women don't deserve the same rights as men is a piece of shit, and I disavow them. But I can no longer identify as such because I think that the name is now stained and tarnished. Hopefully not irreparably so, but who knows? I will fight to my dying day, to my last breath, to protect women's rights and care for the women that I love. I've never catcalled a woman in my life. I always ask for consent over and over again. Is this okay? Are you okay with me kissing you? Can I do this? Even if it annoys the woman, just so she never feels uncomfortable. I never pressure women to do things they don't want to do. I've never had sex with a drunk woman. I've had drunk women throw themselves on me, and they were drunk when I got there, and I turned them down. I've avoided having sex with women who were going through emotional turmoil because I felt it would be taking advantage of their grief and heartache, and I'm not sleazy. I've never sent a dick pic without getting prior consent and double checking. So never just send a dick pic. I go out of my way to be respectful to women. So do not take this video as me slamming women. This is slamming nasty assholes. The problem is that these nasty assholes are speaking for women and women let them for too fucking long. And I just hope and pray that the feminist movement is able to be salvaged. I hope and pray that we're able to prevent this. I hope and pray that women will still be listened to, because that's not what I wanted either. All I ever wanted from this was for men to be taken seriously for assault, for people to realize that men can be raped, men can be molested, men can be groomed, and not to be fucking laughed at when I brought up my story of sexual assault. And I've revealed a lot of personal stuff here that I don't normally talk about, because it's painful, but I needed the world to know why I supported Johnny. And I feel like more men need to say this. And I feel like if ever there was a time for men to come forward about shit like this, it's right fucking now. But we need to not condemn women. We need to take the bad women, the fucking misandrists claiming to be feminists, we need to move them out of the way, and we need to elevate the good women that are fighting just the same as we are. I've seen so many good women who are supporting Johnny, so many good women who supported me, and didn't laugh at me when I talked about my sexual assault, who told me that what she did was horrible. But those women were pushed down. Those women were silenced by feminists. It's time we lift them up. Women aren't bad. Feminists aren't bad. There's just a widespread problem of toxicity. We need to go garden cleaning. We need to clean that shit out. And we should never believe anyone, male or female, without evidence. Nobody should ever just be believed matter-of-factly with no proof. I'm sorry, they shouldn't be. Ever. Men need women. Women need men. We were designed to go hand in hand. And far too long we've been divided as a society. There's been so much hatred going on, back and forth. And I'm sick of it. We need to stand united. We need to go garden cleaning. We need to clean out the misandrous feminists, the feminazis, and we need to clean that and lift up the women who just want to be fucking heard. Who speak for women, who keep women's best interest in mind. These women were the only things that used to keep fucking Roe v. Wade in check. Gloria Steinem was a fucking hero. And we went from having Gloria Steinem willing to die, willing to be arrested for the feminist movement, blazing trails, to being the head of the movement, to fucking Amber Heard being the head of the movement, to Essie Argento, a molester, a pedo. But sadly, I don't think that's going to happen. I genuinely think that it's going to be a dark time for feminists and for women here coming up. And that makes me genuinely sad, because it didn't have to be this way. I and many other people tried to warn you that if you put all of your hopes and dreams on Amber, you're going to go down with her when she does. Now it's too late. There could have been a better way. Now, if you liked this video, I hope you did. I really thought a lot about this. I would really appreciate if you could like and subscribe. I'm trying to make this my dream. You know, I'm going to talk and do commentary more from now on. You know, obviously, hopefully not about topics like this, because this is gut-wrenching for me to talk about. But just because I'm a very opinionated piece of shit. And I have a lot of opinions, and a lot of people like my opinions and said I should get them out there more. I've been told I should, you know. And it's more content.